Today we're going to be talking about the Canon R5C cinema camera and why I chose this camera versus a full-fledged cinema camera. So one thing I like about the R5C is that it's still a hybrid camera. It comes from the R5, and R5 was amazing with photo quality. It's still full frame, it's got 45 megapixels for photos, and it shoots up to 8K RAW internally straight from the camera, and that's pretty amazing. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking 8K is a little overkill, but the good thing about that is that you can shoot 8K if you need to, especially if you're shooting kind of far. If you plan to crop and post, you'll still keep that same quality if you downsize it to 4K or 1080 for like social media or something like that. Now the R5C, they fixed the overheating issues that the R5 had before. Now it's got built-in fans, and you can fully customize it in the menu. You can have it on full auto, high, low, medium, depending if you want it on standby or record. So that's always a great feature that you can adjust that. Now right now I have it here. I do have the tilted cage on it. I've had this camera about 2 weeks now, and I do have a full cinema rig, which I'll make another video and I'll do a full complete breakdown on that. And I have it paired right now with the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 lens. Now the reason why I didn't go with the C70. So C70 is a crop sensor. It's a super 35mm, which is amazing. I did see some comparison videos, and yes, the R5C can look a little digital, and the C70 has more of a film, soft look around it, which is not bad, but you can definitely tell the difference in comparison. You have to have sharpened posts, and it's an extra step you got to take. With the R5C, it's already sharp, and that's more of my style. If you ever want to soften it up, you can just mess with the sharpness as well, and then you're good to go. Another thing with the R5C is that you can actually crop the sensor in the menu. So you can shoot full frame, super 35, or 16mm. So you have a lot of options here with this one. Now the C70 did have a lot more features to make it easier for you on the field. Like it has built-in ND filters, and the battery life. That's probably one of the biggest things. It has a bigger battery than this R5C, which has the LPH6. So you can shoot on the C70 all day. It doesn't overheat. And one less thing to worry about on the field. You take about a few extra batteries, and you can shoot a whole event or wedding with that. With the C70, the battery fucking sucks. Especially if you're shooting in high quality. You only can shoot about 15-20 minutes before your the battery starts dying out, and that's no good either. You're gonna need a lot of batteries to shoot all day with this thing. But I got this camera with a cinema rig in mind with an external battery pack, so that was an easy fix for me. Now this camera takes two memory cards, the CF Express Type B and the SD card, which they recommend the V90. Neither one of those are cheap, so you make sure to do your research on that. If you shoot CF Express, which all the high quality footage records to, you're going to want to make sure you have a lot of storage space, or multiple medias to keep replacing throughout the day. With the SD card, it recommends the V90, as I said, and those are not cheap either, so make sure you do research on that before you make a decision on what type of camera you might be looking for. Now this camera has tons of features. If you switch it over to a photo mode up here, which I don't know, it might be kind of hard to see on the camera, but on photo mode you get the same exact menu as the R5 and basically every other Canon camera, so everybody's going to be very used to that very quickly. But once you switch it over to video mode, you get Canon's full cinema line menu system, which has so many features, so many adjustments. You can adjust the framing on the sensor if you want it, like I said, full frame 35, 60mm, and it comes with a ton of exposure tools. You got the waveforms, you got zebras, and you even got false cutter built in straight to the LCD. Now this camera shoots in C-Log 3 log footage, as well as your typical 709 and standard profile settings. Now like I said, I'll be rigging this camera up, so I'll be using an external monitor. At the moment I got the Atomos Ninja 5, which will convert this into a C-Log 2 if I'm recording HDMI RAW. Now another features that this camera has, it has 13 customizable buttons, so depending on how you use your camera in the field or in production, you can adjust every button to your liking. That way you can reach certain things in the menu without having to actually scroll through the menu through the LCD screen. So it's a lot quicker on the fly. Now if you're working production and on sets a lot with multiple cameras, you want to make sure to get all your time code correctly. You don't want to have to be giving the editor so many issues on trying to figure out when was shot when. So it has a built-in time code port. It's a mini, so you can always connect this to your wire and make sure everything's synced up together. Now another thing to mention about this camera is the size. It's not much bigger than your R5 or any EOS R camera lineup. It is a little thicker because of the vent ports, but besides that, it's not that much bigger, and it's pretty light camera. What carries most of the weight on my camera is this lens that I got here. The C70 is a lot bigger. It's got a bigger battery, and it's a big square. So also keep that in mind, especially if you want to use this on your gimbal. So depending on the gimbal that you have and the capacity, you know, take a look at all those specs online. I'm sure you can find them if you Google each camera. With the R5C, you can be spending around $3,500 to $4,500 online. I've seen different websites when they have them on sale or discounts. With the C70, you can pay about another $1 on top of that. So that's another factor to keep in mind if you're not sure if you want to upgrade to a full-fledged cinema camera, which is video only. Now, if you're strictly into film and production, I would recommend the C70s because it's got a lot more built-in features. I'm most likely going to get another cinema camera that's full-fledged video at some point. So I'll have the R6, which is probably be my C camera. I'll probably use the R5C as my B camera depending on what I'm shooting. And I'll use the cinema camera for all my production shots. Another downside of the R5C is that it still has a mini HDMI connection, which I'm guessing they did that for cost and not to make the camera so much bigger. Right now I have it wrapped with the Tilta cage on it. The cool thing about this is it comes with the wire clamps, and they even sent me this pigtail which converts your mini HDMI to full HDMI. So I can keep it clamped on and then I just connect to full HDMI and I have to worry about the mini HDMI getting loose or damaged when I'm out there shooting. Now this camera has a ton of features. It'll take about another hour just to get through everything. There's a lot of videos up there on YouTube which I'm sure you can search, and they'll go through every step in the menu and what every feature does. Now I hope this video is very informational for you guys. I know I had a hard time trying to decide which camera to get when I was in the market. So now that you listen to all the features, hopefully I can make that decision a little easier for you guys. And if you like more content like this, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. It'll definitely help the algorithm. And I'll be making a video soon on my full cinema rig setup. I'll break it down for you guys and I'll build it that you guys can see what it takes to build a cinema rig. See you on the next one.